So the buildings are here finally, and the patch is live right now when I release this video. And there's 3 buildings. I have a video about them if you want to watch, but basically there's walls that block fire. There's medium turret that kills like sledgehammers, steel balls, whatnot. And then chaff clear turret. And the chaff clear turret was the for sure the best one by a long shot compared to this guy. And the turrets are, or the buildings are only in 1 vs 1 and 2 vs 2 mode. At the start of each game, the system selects 1 from 8 building layouts. This is also in my video, but I didn't cover all the layouts. But they are, you can learn them. Yeah. All destroyed buildings will be rebuilt at the start of the new round. And when I tested it, the buildings you can sell for 100. I don't know if they change it. We shall see. Why is the building layout designed this way, and what are the design goals of the building layout? Add more information to the round 1 board, reduce the randomness of round 1 and make round 1 gameplay more strategic. So I think they... this is, I think, a bit of a wrong thinking. Like, if they reduce the randomness, I think it will be less strategic, right? So there's different, fewer moves you can make round 1, so the game is more like you know what your opponent is gonna do. I don't think that's a good thing. Secondary goal, encourage less formulaic and more emergent strategies by having a different building layout for every game. I think, yeah, this is... The buildings will make it more formulaic, right? You can learn the optimal strategy for each layout. It just encourages more formulas, in my opinion. Optional goals, reduce the snowball effect in the early rounds of a game. Yeah, this it will do for sure, because the buildings kill a lot of units also, so even if you lose the round, you will take less health damage, so this is a very good thing in my opinion. After adding more information to the round 1 board, we may now take the opportunity to remove some special rules introduced to counter the random nature of round 1. Okay. In the past, to battle the random nature of round 1, we reduced the deployability area of round 1 by 20 meters. After introducing the building layout, we can now remove this special rule. Okay, this is a very good thing. I think it didn't affect much. So what changed when they introduced this is that the deployments were the same, but people just put the chaff in the back, and round 2 built the chaff in the front. So it was more of like an annoyance. I guess what it really did change is that you couldn't put storms right on the line to snipe the enemy tower. It's good that they are removing this. In this game, I don't like that there's so many special rules you have to like learn. This is one of them. And there's like special rules on the cards, unit drops, what can appear when. It's very confusing for a new player. Utilize the building layout as a new balance tool for starting units. Yeah, they can probably gather a lot of information, but I think it will take a long time for them to actually gather useful data, because it will take quite a bit of time for people to understand how to use them, right? Reduce the impact of buildings on later rounds to ensure that the final outcome of a match is still determined by units. Yeah, I felt this when I tested the units, the buildings. They were relevant for like 3 rounds maybe 4, then they kinda didn't do anything anymore. As you can see, the building layouts are mainly designed to address issues from earlier rounds, and we tried not to change the game too much while doing so. Why not design more powerful buildings, and why can't buildings be upgraded? Mechabellum's battle is automated, where powerful defense structures will encourage both players to build a large number of static defenses in their own half of the battlefield, thus easily leading to the awkward situation where both players wait for the other to attack. Well, like this is an answer why the buildings aren't powerful in late game, but this applies to the early game as well, thus easily leading to the awkward situation where both players wait for the other to attack. So the best way to use the buildings is to wait for the other to attack. Will there be more buildings types in the future? And the answer is yes. How does the addition of building layouts affect the balance of offensive and defensive strategies? With the introduction of building layouts, some of the more formulaic strategies will be forced to adapt. According to the test server matches, if properly utilized, these buildings can provide some interesting opportunities for both offensive and defensive tactics. Both offensive and defensive strategies are pretty viable on the test server. I think this also heavily relies on what the selling price of the buildings is. Like, you can play aggro if you can sell the buildings for profit, right? Otherwise they are no use for you. But I think like adding this stuff will make the game to be more easier to play. But it's gonna be pretty chaotic on the first week, right? Because people haven't figured it out. But once we as a player base figure out how to use the buildings optimally, I think many of the games will look very similar, right? That's my prediction. Balance adjustment. The following balance adjustment mainly target units that are significantly affected by building layouts. Titan units. Okay, this is what I've been waiting for. Holy moly. I've been waiting for this so long. The War Factory, for example, when it was the only Titan, has been broken for like a year straight. I'm so sick of these Titans. So they are removing the upkeep. They are putting the unlock cost from 200 to 350. And they are removing the efficient maintenance. And the cost of all technologies is increased by 200. So basically what this means is that you are basically forced to take the efficient maintenance right away. It's baked in the unlock cost, right? And in the text afterwards. So basically what this does compared to the current meta is that you cannot use the Titan as a finisher anymore. So you can't put like a level 2 factory with armor on the line because it's too expensive, right? Or level 2 factory with high explosive ammo, or a mountain with plating. But this will make it so that the units are very similar when played early, like round 4, round 5. But like round 4, round 5 Titans haven't been really good. There's some people who force these kind of strategies. The one War Factory dude, for example, he makes them work pretty good, but like not well enough for them to be actually viable. So let's see what will happen with the Titans. I will suspect they are like more fair now. There's certainly some use cases, at least for the Abyss and Mountain. I think the War Factory is not that great with these changes, and they are reducing the HP by 10%. And yeah, these changes are just what I talked about here. All techs increased by 200, so they're basically you have to click the maintenance first, or that's what it means compared to the old patch. Fortress, attack plus 7%. Yeah, the Fortress has been, since the introduction, or since people discovered how good like Armor Factory is, and now with the Abyss also, Fortress has been one of the worst units in the entire game Whereas before it was one of the best units in the entire game, in my opinion. It's pretty strange that they are buffing its attack and not like health, or changing the barrier, for example. But I guess they want to have it so that they can kill like a mountain or factory. But the main counter is Abyss, I think, for the fortress. So not a great unit still, I think. We shall see if the Titans are too expensive now. Fang attack plus 3%, okay. Stormcaller attack minus 3%. Sandworm attack plus 7%. Sandstorm price from 250 to 200. Underground maintenance price from 200 to 150. Health point recovery per second from 15 to 20%. Interesting. Yeah, the Sandstorm has been super weak. I think the underground maintenance is not good still, unless you play like 2 vs 2 or FFA. Might be pretty good there. But yeah, the Sandworm hasn't been great. But these units like Fort and Sandworm will see a lot more play, because you cannot like go factory so easily, right? Crawler, loose formation, unit spacing from 4 meter to 3.7 meter. Yeah, someone in the development team knows what they're doing. Like, this crawler has been so powerful. Every game is decided by crawlers basically. And the loose formation, it's so good against many builds like sledges, arclights, whatnot. And you cannot prepare for them with Mustangs, because then he can just click Subterranean, right? I've never been a fan of crawler having these two technologies that you can choose. Let's say like 2 Chaffclear units, Arclight, Mustang. So you can choose between them. If the enemy has arcs, you go loose. If the enemy has Mustangs, you go Subterranean. At least with Fang shields, when you have, for example, Arclights and the enemy starts going Fangs, you can immediately add the Mustangs. So I think like Fang shield makes a lot of sense. I like Fang shield a lot. I don't like that the crawler has these two technologies. I think they should just remove this technology. I've never liked it in the game. But this is a very good change. If I don't have time to test this. I don't know these numbers. If someone knows what the breakpoint is, like there's a number how much splash a unit can have for the crawler loose formation to be effective. So if someone knows what the number is now, please comment it on the video. Thank you. Farseer burst mode, price 150 to 200. Okay, thank God, this is so broken. Yeah, I've never been a fan of the Farseer either, because it counters too many unit types with the single deployment. But I guess it will be more fine now. I complain about this unit a lot. I don't think it's like that's OP, I guess. What I don't like about it that it reduces the early strategies you can do. Because if you do something a little bit weird, the enemy can just put down one Farseer and it counters every single weird thing you do. Let's put it like that. So I think the Farseer being in the game reduces creativity by like a lot. So that's why I hate this unit with passion. Because it like counters, for example, sledgehammers, wasps, raids on a single unit. For example, if the enemy goes like marksman, you can build wasps. If the enemy goes mustangs, you can build sledges, like whatnot. There's always a counter, but with the Farseer, there's no counter to the next thing he's doing. Vulcan, Scorching Fire, price 200 to 300. I suspect this is because of the buildings. Like, this was actually my plan. Like the buildings thwart aggro so hard that I was actually thinking of building only Vulcan marksman in my games in this new patch. So I think they have realized this also, so they are nerfing the Vulcan preemptively without any data. I think this is quite impressive actually, that they figured it out. I think it's a very good change. Giant Specialist adjusted to decrease the unlock cost of Giant and Titan units by 200. So with the Giant spec, the Titans cost 150 to unlock. And same as with the Aerial spec. Rhino Specialist player HP pool minus 100 hit points. Typhoon spec player HP pool minus 200 hit points. Yeah, I think the Typhoon spec makes a lot of sense. I think like Typhoon is one of the most powerful units in the game, I feel like. And but it takes a long time to get going because it's only on level 4. Then you need level 2 Typhoons. And you have to pair them with like Overlords to combat the enemy Scorpions. So it requires a lot of setup. And I guess the buildings will give you time as a Typhoon specialist to assemble a good composition. So maybe that's why they are doing this. I think in the last patch, I think Typhoon spec not that great, but with the buildings maybe it's better, we shall see. Battlefield power, the area of the sticky oil bombs has been reduced by 20%. Okay, this is nice. They were actually thinking of removing the oil from the tower, but they didn't do it, so they are reducing the area. Okay, that's something at least. Due to introduction of building layouts, the importance of sticky oil bombs in offensive versus defensive matchup has decreased, so we have decided to reduce the area of sticky oil. In the future, we are likely to make even more adjustment to sticky oil bombs and other battlefield powers based on statistical data. Okay, this is a very good news. Assistant grid. Now when players move a unit, a grid that covers the entire map will appear. Players can use the shortcut Ctrl+G to toggle the grid. And players can also change the grid's color in the settings. Okay, nice. I'm so used to not having it, so doesn't affect me, but it's pretty nice. I wish they add some colors so you could easily calculate like 7 spaces, 4 spaces, 5 spaces, all that's needed. Okay, then the deployment area is coming back. Now you can remove a dude from your lobby, that's good. We have significantly reduced the performance pressure caused by the Abyss's swarm missiles. Okay. New crawler skin. Some bug fixes. Okay. Seems good. Let's see. Like I have zero hopes for the buildings. I think not good for the game, but we shall see. Maybe the developers can make the buildings work. But I think it will require some time. At least like I like to play aggressive. Like I can play defensive. I can switch up my playstyle no problem. But I think like aggressive games are the most interesting ones to me. So that's why I play them, to keep me interested in the game. And I hate to see that they are limiting it. But I guess I haven't played that's much with the buildings yet, so we shall see. Are they actually a problem? Are they not? Maybe they prove me wrong, so we shall see. So, thanks for watching.